أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Again, we meet in this course, that is after finishing the business accounting course. So we have another course, and this is known as business ethics. And as we start the course today, I would like to remind you of our policies as a university. So you need to always regularly attend classes. The classes are around 20% of your course. Then we'll also have the mid-semester exam or the quiz, which will carry 30% of your marks. Then 20%, then the final exam will be out of 60. Also, I have shared with you the course outline for the course, and I have also shared with you the reference books. They are very interesting reference books. So during your free time, I like you to review the books and dig deeper so that you can gain at least a clear picture of business ethics. So it's a very interesting course. So I hope that you will take your time to review the courses so that you gain a deeper understanding of the concepts that are related to business accounting. So today we'll not cover a lot. Today will just be a brief introduction to the course, So just review the course outline and you will know the objectives of the course. Now, in our lesson today, we're going to cover the first part of our lesson, and it is related to introduction to business ethics. So our lesson today is basically an introduction to business ethics. So these are the learning objectives of our lesson today. So by the end of this lesson, students should be able to, number one, define ethics and business ethics. Number two, understand the significance of ethical behavior within business entities. Number three, distinguish between morality, law, and ethics. Then explain the relationship between individual morality and corporate ethics. Then identify the nature and scope of business ethics. Then recognize the roles and importance of ethics in business decision making. Then list and describe the key elements of business ethics. Then lastly, analyze the main causes of ethical failures in business. So in brief, this is what you are going to cover in our first lesson of this course. Okay, as we start, introduction to business ethics. So this background information is very important. So business ethics emerged as a discipline during the 1970s when corporations began facing public criticism over environmental issues, corruption, and worker exploitation. So this subject, it first emerged, it first started, it was first established in 1970s. And it was established because organizations or companies, they started to face problems. They were being blamed a lot because of issues related to environment, issues related to corruption, and issues related to work exploitation. So because of all these emerging issues, there was a need to come with a course that will address all these problems that corporations or companies were facing at that time. Now, this business ethics, it integrates principle from moral philosophy and corporate governance to guide decision making in organization. So remember, in any organization, they always have to make decisions every day Every day, organizations, they have to make decisions. But the question is, how are they making those decisions? That is why you have what is known as moral philosophy. That is, before as a manager, you make any decision, you have to ask yourself, is it the right decision? Is it going to benefit my customers? Is it going to affect the environment in any way? So the unsur of akhlaq in making any decision, it's very important. Then we also have corporate governance. And corporate governance means hawkama. In Arabic, it means hawkama. So when you're talking about corporate governance, these are principles that guide corporations or companies when they are making decisions in the organization. So when you're talking about corporate governance, it is all about being transparent. It is all about being accountable. It is all about being responsible. It is all about sharing data and information with all the stakeholders. Now, what are the key areas? Of course, there are very many areas in business ethics. And you'll just, if you review the course outline, there are around 11 key areas. And some of those key areas also are number one, corporate responsibility. What is our responsibility as a company? What is our responsibility to our employees? What is our responsibility to the society? You know? Number two, fair trade practices. When we are doing business, how should we conduct ourselves? You know? So we need to be honest. There should be no ghish. There should be no riba. You know? So it's basically about al-mu'amalat when we are doing our businesses. Then consumer protection. Remember, you are doing business. But when you are doing your business, your services or the goods you are selling, it should not harm your customers. It should not harm the consumers. So the consumers are protected by the law. They can take your company. So, for example, if they use your product and your products affects their health, they can take you to a court of law. Then number four, sustainability and environmental ethics. This is very important. When you are doing business, you have to know that there is the environment that needs to be protected. So, for example, if you are having a factory, you should not pollute the environment. But what is happening nowadays? Many companies, they pollute the environment. Their factories, their industries are near the houses where people normally live. So you find that the environment and the people, they are being affected negatively by your factory or by your industry, and that is not allowed. Now, so now let us start defining. There are some keywords here because we have business ethics. But أولا, what is ethics? This word ethics, ماذا تعني? So ethics refers to the study of moral principles that govern behavior. So it is the study of moral, mabadi al-akhlaqiyya, that govern behavior, determining what is right or wrong, fair or unfair. So basically, when you're talking about ethics, we are talking about there is a code of ethics. هناك المبادئ الأخلاقية. So this mabadi is what help us to determine this is right, this is wrong. This is fair, this is not unfair. You know? And of course, in Islam, our ethics is very clear. Our ethics are our ethics are derived from the Quran and Sunnah. So what the Quran say halal, we have to follow. What the Quran say haram, we need to avoid it. You know, so in Islam, the Quran and the Hadith is what guides our tasarrufat. Now, this word, it is originally from Greek, from the word ethikos. Ethikos means character, akhlaq, or custom, al-adat. Now, ethics is both philosophical. What is the meaning of philosophical? Study of principle. dirasatul mabadi. So ethics is both theoretical. You need to study about what business ethic is. And number two, it is also practical. Practical means guidance for action. So before you do anything, you need to refer to something, to the code of ethics. So we can say ethics is theory, philosophical, and at the same time, it is practical. Now, this is what we were just saying now. So ethics is the branch of philosophy dealing with what is morally right and wrong. So what is morally right and what is wrong? It defines human conduct and the principles that govern behavior. So it defines how we should behave. And the al-mabadi, the principles that govern the behavior. Now, what are the key characteristics of ethics? Number one, they are concerned with moral values. So ethics, they are concerned with al-qiyam, for example, truth. We should as-sidq, al-justice, al-adala, and al-honesty is al-amana. So this is what ethics is all about. Majmu'atul qiyam wal mabadi. Number two, it helps individuals distinguish between right and wrong. So these principles, for example, in Quran, the Quran guides us. So before we do anything, we need to refer to the Quran. Is this halal? Is this haram? Is this acceptable or is not acceptable? It applies to both personal and professional life. So the ethics, it applies both to your al-hayatu shakhsiyah, your daily life. How do you conduct yourself? ثم ثانيا, your professional life. When you're working the company, how should you behave? How should you conduct yourself? So it is not only limited to your professional life, but also your personal life. So for example, look at this example. An employee deciding whether to report a co-worker's unethical behavior is facing an ethical dilemma, balancing loyalty with integrity. Sometimes you're working in a company and your friend steals money. So sometimes, so here there are two things. This is your friend, and number two, you have to do the right thing. So there is the integrity and there is the loyalty. So what are you going to do? Are you going to report your friend? Or you are going to be loyal to your friend? Oh, this is my friend. If I report him or her, then he's going to feel angry. So this is called ethical dilemma. And every day in our life, we normally face the ethical dilemma. Like, what should I do? I'm very confused. I'm going to make some people angry. I'm going to make some people happy. But fi nihayatul mataf, you need to make the decision. And the decision that you make, it has to be the right decision. Now, the business ethics is the application of moral principles and standard to business situation and decision. So now we have already defined ethics. But what is business ethics? So it is the application, tatbiq, of moral principles and standard to business situations and decisions. So you are a businessman, you are working in a company. So you have to apply al-akhlaq. You have to apply the qiyam when you're doing your business. So you should not practice ghish because man ghashana falaysa minna. You should not take riba because riba is what? Wa ahalla Allahu al-bay wa harrama riba. Riba is, it's haram, So those are the things you need to apply in your business. So it is concerned with how organizations and their employees act responsibly towards stakeholders. How organization as a whole and how their employees act responsibly towards stakeholders. Because if you're having a school, mathalan, as a university, we have the students, so as a university, we always have to ensure that we are giving the student their rights. We are always giving them information about what is happening in the university. But if the students maybe they feel that the university is not being transparent, the university is not giving them quality education, then the student might be forced to leave or might be forced to think the opposite. So it involves fair dealing, honesty, transparency, and accountability. These are the qiyam, the values I was talking about. Another example is here. Refusing to bribe a foreign official to win a contract even when competitors do so. An ethical business decision guided by integrity. So sometimes you can be, this is called a rushwa. So sometimes this normally happens in our countries. So you have to give rushwa so that they can give you a contract or a tender by the government. So sometimes you might be tempted to give rushwa so that you can get something, but you know very well that rushwa is haram. And there are very many definitions of business ethics, but they're all revolving around the same thing. So business ethic is the application of general ethical principles to business behavior. So the key word is we are applying akhlaq to business. Number two, business ethic is the study of business situation. Mawaqif at-tijariya, how we conduct our business activity, anshita at-tijariya, and decisions, where issues of right and wrong are addressed. Then, and I like this definition, the definition of Peter Drucker. Drucker, he has written very many books in business. He's one of the famous writers in management. You cannot if you are a business student doing MBA, mathalan, you'll come across many of his books. He has written book, for example, in quality assurance. He has written books in organizational behavior. So he's defining business ethic as business ethic is concerned with doing what is right and proper in business. Bil ikhtisar, you do what is right and proper for the business. No going left, no going back, no going in front. So you are just in the tariq al-mustaqim. You are doing what is right. And that is what is known as integrity. So khulasatul qawl, business ethics refers to the moral values, al-qiyam al-akhlaqiyya, and standard and ma'ayir. Standard means ma'ayir that guide business, turshid al-munazzamat. So it is the compass, it is the map, it is the blueprint that guides business when they are making their decisions. So they have to ensure that their decision is fair, their decision is transparent, and there should be a respect for all the stakeholders that are involved, of course, in the running of the business, either directly or indirectly. Now, so this is also a definition of business ethics. Now, as we are defining business ethics, sometimes there is some confusion between some keywords. So sometimes there is a confusion between morality and ethics. Like, are they the same? Morality and ethics, these two words, are they the same? So they are not the same. So what is the meaning of morality? Morality means personal standards of right and wrong. Personal. Mathalan, an employee's internal belief that lying is wrong. So dakhiliyan, you know that yani al-kadhib haram. So it is something that is internal. So this is something that is natural, you are born with it. So even without referring to al-kitab, hadith, or nothing. So morality is something that you are born with. It is natural, like you just know that cheating is not good, even if nobody tells you, but you just know it is not okay. That is morality, but ethics, it is systematic framework for analyzing moral choices in a social or professional context. So ethics They are written. For example, a company's policy against false advertising. So all the policies in the company, they are ethics. So they are written. All the workers, they have to follow. But morality is something that is not written. It is not written anywhere. But you just know, خلاص يعني تلقائيا طبيعيا, doing this thing is right and doing that thing is not good at all. So that is the difference between the two. Morality is very personal. But when you come to ethics, it is written, and when you are in an organization, you need to follow it. Okay, another thing that people normally confuse is between ethics and law. Like, are they the same, ethics and law? So number one, the nature of both of them. So ethic, this is very important. So number one, ethics, it is based on moral principles, mabadi al-akhlaqiyya, and conscience. Conscience means using your head. Tamyiz. That is why Allah created us with al-aql. يمكن أن تميز بين شيء ماذا يعني شيء صحيح والخطأ. You can easily distinguish. But law, it is based on legal rules in the country and enforcement. People have to be forced. If you don't follow it, then they can arrest you. For example, if you don't, for example, follow the traffic rules, that is a law. You have to follow the traffic rules. If you don't follow, they will arrest you. But sometimes ethics are just akhlaqiyya. Nobody is going to arrest you. Nobody is going to enforce it on you. You just have to ensure that you're doing the right thing. Now, the scope. Ethics is broader. Wasia, majal wasia. Ethics is applied everywhere. Our life is revolving around ethics, and it is voluntary. But law is narrow and compulsory. Law, and it is compulsory. You have to follow the rules and regulations. Whether you like it, whether you hate it, you need to follow it. Now, an example is paying fair wages beyond legal minimum. So, for example, you are working in a company. So, the organization, the standard salary is $100. But the company decides to pay $120. So that extra $20, it is ethics. The company is supposed to pay 100, but it is paying plus 20 because it is thinking our workers, mashallah, they're helping us. They wake up every morning, they are giving their best. Why not give them the extra 20? So it is something that is, the law is not forcing us to give the $20, but it is something that is akhlaqan. But law, for example, the other side, paying at least the government mandated wage. So the government always says, like, for example, the minimum wage is $100. So if any organization does not pay the workers this 100, if it is paying them less, then they are going to be in trouble with the government. So they need to pay that 100. They are being forced. This is the minimum. They have to pay the 100. But when you come to ethics, ziyadatu and the 100, they can give something. Now, what is the importance of business ethics? Somebody can ask, Limada, why do we need to have this al-mabadi al-akhlaqiyya? Is this something that is good to our business? Number one, it builds reputation, as-sum'ah, the reputation of your business. So ethical companies like Infosys and Tata enjoy strong and brand loyalty. Even in Somali, you have some companies, they have good name because of the ethical of their business ethics. So number two, ensures long-term profitability. Ethical conduct prevents legal penalties and consumer boycotts. So if your company is doing the right thing, so there will be no legal penalty. Nobody can give you a penalty because you did not follow this. You have to pay a fine. Or consumer boycotts. Customers will say, we are going to boycott your product. Like now, look what is happening. Many companies in Israel, any company that is supporting the genocide in Gaza, people are boycotting their products. And this is affecting the profit of the company. Why? Because these companies, they know that people are being killed in Gaza, but they are still supporting them. They're still supporting it. So people have decided in many countries, hey, listen, we are going to boycott. We are going to boycott these products. So there are many companies, for example, they have closed their business because people have boycotted. The McDonald's, I don't know, the Chicken Inn, the what, they have closed all their businesses because of things that are related to ethics. They are not doing the right thing. They are supporting people who are being killed. So people have decided, no, we cannot buy their products. And because of that, their profits have gone down. Number two, enhances employee commitment. So ethical workplaces improve morale and reduce turnover. If your company, you're doing the right thing, the workers, they will be committed, and it will improve their morale, and it will reduce the turnover. Many people will not leave your company. But nowadays, in many companies, people want to leave. So you are just there because you did not get another opportunity. Why? Because they are not treating you in the best way. They are not paying you good salary. The working condition is not good. The managers, the leaders, they are always saying, they are telling lies. And they are telling lies. So people don't want to work with people who tell lies, people who don't care about them. Customer trust. Ethical marketing and product safety attract loyal customers. Customers are going to trust you if you're doing the right thing. Investor confidence. Investors prefer companies with strong governance and ethical records. Today, if I want to invest in your company, I'm going to see how is your ethical record. Do you have good governance structures in your company? If the answer is yes, then I can easily invest. Now, what is the relationship? What is the relationship? The relationship between individual and corporate ethics. Is there any difference between individual and corporate ethics? Is there any difference? Yes. So when you're talking about individuals are the people who are working inside the organization. So organizations reflect what? Organizations reflect the values of individuals who run them. Organization reflect the values of individuals who run them. What is the meaning of this statement? Organizations reflect the values of individuals who run them. So, for example, you have Telesom, you have Dahabshil. What are the values of the leaders? So, the values of the leaders reflect the behavior of the organization. Even at a country level, the value of the president, it reflects down all the system in the country. So if you are a dictator, it will be reflected in the whole system. If you're a democratic person, it will be reflected down. Ethical leadership sets the tone at the top. Ethical leadership sets the tone. When you are talking about the tone, we are talking about, as a leader, you need to be qudwatun hasana. If the leaders are doing the right thing, the employees down here, they will do the right thing. But if the leader is not doing the right thing, even down here, they will not do the right thing. So you as the leader up there, You need to set the standard. You need to preach water and drink water. And that is why even in the Holy Quran, the ayah is very clear. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم. You should not be that kind of a leader. You should set the right direction. You should behave well. And then it will be reflected even in inside the employees. So corporate culture, how we do things here, shapes ethical or unethical behavior. So if you go to any organization, there is how they do their things, how we do things here. So corporate culture, how we do things here, shapes ethical or unethical behavior. So if you go to an organization where the culture is rushwa, so you'll also start taking rushwa. But if you go to an organization where there is transparency, integrity, people are honest, then you'll also be that kind of a person. So they always say, Al-mar'u ma'adini khalili. So you are just with the people, your behavior is determined with your friends, with the people who you are working around. Now, systems and policies like code of conduct institutionalize ethics. So in every organization, you normally have a code of conduct. The code of conduct is what is expected from you if you're working at Dahabshil Bank. What should you do? You should attend. You need to attend in the office every day. You need to come early. You need to do your work diligently. You need to respect the customers, the way you talk to them. You need to attend meetings. You need to submit reports. All these are code of conduct. Now, what is the nature of business ethics? What is the nature? Tabi'atul whatever, the business ethics. What is the nature? What is the nature of business ethics? So number one, normative in nature. Normative, it is from the word normal. Normal. It is from the word normal. So it prescribes how businesses ought to behave. Ya akhi, antum kal business, this is how you should behave normally. When you're doing your business, behave like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it prescribes that when you go to a pharmacy, they give you medicine. They tell you use it 3 times in a day or 1 time every 2 hours. The same thing with business ethics. It shows us, hey, ya Jama, this is how you need to behave. Number 2, universal application. Ethical principles apply across all industries and cultures. So you cannot say that business ethics is just limited or restricted to a given country. No. Dynamic concepts. Ethics evolve with societal changes and technology. So ethics evolves. It keeps changing with societal changes and technology. But this does not apply. This does not apply to Islamic ethics. Next week, I think we will cover something related to Islamic ethics. Islamic ethics does not change. Yes, the Azaman wal Makan can change, but Islamic ethics cannot change. Thabit ila yawm al-qiyamah. But when you go to the other corporate culture, when you go to the capitalism, the socialist, the kuffars, their ethics, they change ala hasab al-makan wa zaman. So for example, what is right in Somali, you are wearing hijab. But when you go to America, you don't cover yourself with hijab. So that is maybe the ethics in America. It's okay if you don't have hijab. But in Somali, you have to. So, but as a Muslim, the Islam ethics, it does not determine you are in America or you are in Somali. You need to wear your hijab. Full stop. لا يتغير. ولكن في المقابل, the other ethics, it keeps on changing to suit the needs of human beings. to satisfy their needs. But in Islam, Islam, the Islamic ethics is not there to satisfy the human needs. No, it is there to please Allah. We need to do what is pleasing to Allah, not what is pleasing to your emotions, not what is pleasing to your needs. No. And this is what is happening in Gharb, Mujdama al-Gharb. All the ethics, they are there litalbiyatul al-hajat, to satisfy the emotions. Even that is why you find in America the gender. For example, now you can marry a man and a man, they can marry each other. And for example, if you go to any company, you can identify your gender, like anything. But it's further. So dynamic concept, this does not apply to Islamic culture, ethics, but it applies to them. Based on values, it is based on al-mabadi, principles such as honesty, integrity, and fairness, long-term perspective. Ethical businesses build sustainable growth, al-istidama. If you want your business to run for many years, to gain profits, then voluntary compliance, though not enforced by law, ethical behavior is expected. Even this one does not apply to Islamic ethics. Like our ethics, it is not voluntary, like you can do it or you cannot do it. No. Islamic ethics is that you need to follow it. If you don't follow it, there is muhasaba yawm al-qiyamah. So we will continue after the break. We still have we still have some slides remaining. So I will send the other link. I'll send another link after the short break. We still have like 15 more minutes before we finish. We still have 4 slides or 6 slides. So after the break, we will continue with the second part of our lesson. So we will start here, the role of ethics. Now, what is the role of ethics? After the break, we are going to start here. What is the role of ethics? Is Daur